Probando, probando.
Estamos listos.
Listos. Are we on?
Yes, we are on.
Oh.
Give me one. Make sure that we are making it happen here. All right. Hello, everybody that's watching all around the world. You are tuned into Wonky Power Live Sessions. And today we have a very important session. We are trying to do a new type of program here, and today's program is going to raise awareness towards Ayotzinapa. And if you don't know what that is, then hopefully by the end of this show and this program, you will get informed, and we can all, as a people, as humans, can do something about it and continue to talk about these things. And so from there, I'm going to pass the mic along to, if you want to introduce yourself. Oh, you want to introduce yourself? Oh, you're going to have to come over here. Yes.
Hello, everyone. My name is Marta de La Paz, and thank you for being here. It's a pleasure to be around such excellent people. So,
thank you very much. And my name is Mario Rodriguez, and we're with Wonky Power Records. And from here on in, they will be speaking, and we also have great musicians inside, which I will show them right now. You guys want to perform music for?
I'm going to talk a little bit
Yeah,
and then...
of course.
All right.
That mic is all you guys.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, they have a mic too.
Thank you very much for tuning in with us here through wonkypower.com live sessions. My name is Marco Daniel, and tonight the four of us will be La Nave del Olvido. We have Alan Garza, Ty Doe, Adrian Graniel, and myself performing. The reason why we put this event together was to raise awareness, to make sure that situations don't happen again, and see what we can do about it. Ayotzinapa is a small town in Guerrero, Mexico, where 43 students last year were disappeared by government forces and tied with cartel members that were directed by the mayor and the mayor's wife of that town. We are trying to make sure that through our music, through our performances, in our art, and in just plain conversation, we can be conscious of what we do and how we live our daily lives, and try to connect back to who we are and what life is supposed to be about. Even though this situation already happened months ago, I think that we should have, because the media stopped covering, we should stop talking about it. If anything, we should always be carrying those memories and those people's lives and experiences with us, so that we can be better and work towards solving the problems that affect the people who are in unfortunate situations. And being that we're in a privileged situation living in the country that we do, then all we can do is work towards that. So I really appreciate you guys tuning in. We will have performances by Denis Cisneros. Daniel Anguilu is going to be talking about his experience visiting Escuela Rural de los Normalistas in Ayotzinapa. And we will follow that up with a conversation with Marta from la Asamblea Popular de Houston, who will be discussing how their organization is contributing to the social causes and the movements for justice for issues all around the world. And we will close it out with Marta de La Paz performing a traditional dance for us. So please enjoy. Thank you very much. This song is called Ayotzinapa, and I hope you enjoy it. So I basically thought about writing that song as soon as I news of what had occurred. I felt that it was such a blatant attack on a people, specifically a people of a certain ethnic background, considering that although Mexico is a mestizo culture, there's still very much segregation towards the indigenous people, and Daniel can obviously tell you guys more about that and what he saw down there, but I just felt like such an affront was so inhumane and that they treated me that it really touched me, and I hadn't played music in a while, so I just had to write something about it. So I basically wrote it in a way that it would be describing through music the events and how they transpired throughout the day. In the morning, everybody is optimistic. Then there's problems, there's stress, there's tension, and then there's fear because we don't know what's happening to these people. And in the end, there's hope that this tragedy could lead to change and a brighter future. Now we're going to hopefully move on to Marita, if she could talk a little bit about how La Asamblea is moving things here in Houston and helping out.
Um, yes, so my name is Marixa and I'm participating with La Asamblea Popular de Houston. And what the reason why we formed is basically because of what happened in Ayotzinapa last November 20th, 2014. We wanted to continue or give it a follow up, as to what was going on in Mexico. And we at La Asamblea Popular de Houston, we feel the same as Marcos, that it's always the oppression is always towards a certain people. It's indigenous people, and I think that what hurt the most is that these were students. They were students from very low income families, and I personally, coming to the United States, I am from a low income family, so I could immediately relate as a student in the struggle with trying to get an education. I cannot even imagine in Mexico. Most of the students of the Normal Ayotzinapa, they're from Guerrero, but there was also the student from the state of Mexico, whose face was torn out. He was left without a face, and it's the image that we saw all over the internet. There's people trying to better themselves in Mexico, and I think that's why it creates so much anger, that the little opportunities that there is, the government doesn't want to let these students get ahead, So in the Asamblea, at first it just started like getting together and talking about the issue, like what was going on, trying to understand why the students went missing. Because a lot of people still don't understand why they went missing. But it takes, reading and going into history to understand why they were being attacked, why this particular school. They have a different mentality, they're activists, and over time, since November, we've seen that the attacks have continued. It's maybe not just towards Ayotzinapa, but also to activism in general in Mexico. Just yesterday, another activist was found killed in a taxi in Acapulco, Guerrero, and he was leading the movement for the 43 missing students. He wanted to find them. There's people who are being detained, people of the community, trying to communities. They just want to live in a peaceful environment, but the government is totally against that. And we've just been giving it a follow-up, and with all that happened, later we were able to host Caravana 43, which was some parents, that came to the United States to situation. I don't think that opportunity used to be given before. I mean, that's kind of like 2015 when people are able to tell their side of the story and tell people that the students were not criminals, that they were just trying to better themselves. It was the military that took them. It wasn't that they were burnt. It wasn't that they were criminals. It wasn't that they were mistaken for some rival drug cartel. I mean, there's so many inconsistencies that, these parents just wanted to let us know that it's not true. It's not true what was said on TV and what the government has tried to say that it's been truth, because it hasn't been. I don't know if anybody else wants to say anything, but I thought it was important. Well, it's also important that Caravana 43 happened. It first moved a lot of people here in the United States, which we all think was great, because before there hadn't been any from the communities, and it's been a good response here in the United States. And I think it's because they also feel there's that oppression, here as well. So it's like, okay, so we leave our country where we don't have any opportunities, but here, okay, there might be, have to work very, very, very hard to get to the same place where maybe a U.S. citizen, and it doesn't matter if you're a U.S. citizen or not. It goes back to, like Marco said, it depends on your background. It depends on your color. So I think probably all of us here can identify with that. We're obviously people who do better for ourselves, or at some point have gone past those boundaries. Those boundaries that, the majority of society have said, that's where you should be, like down over there, you're not meant to escalate. You're not meant to be a leader. You have a certain position in the community. Hopefully you guys identify with that part. And since Caravana 43, the organizations that hosted the parents of the missing students and the students have wanted to meet. So we're actually meeting the 25th and the 26th of September of this year to here in Houston. We don't have the place yet confirmed, but we do have a website, which I am trying to...
And we'll post the links as soon as we're done with the episode.
Yeah. There is a website. It's www.asambleapopularnacionalusa.org. So this is where people can register, and you can pass on the information to whoever is interested. It's open to activists that belong to organizations, or just as an individual, just to listen on the discussion and the plan, to actually work together. And it's in reference to what happened with Caravana, with what's been going on. How can we support that movement? But I think eventually we're going to also realize that there's a community here too that we need to address their needs, and how can we help to better our communities here as well, in particular the Latino communities. Yes.
I know there's another mic on over there. There's a mic on right there. Do you want to say anything?
Yes, thank you very much, Marta, for contributing and speaking more in depth about the issues and how you guys are definitely supporting that movement. I appreciate you very much. Now we'd like to have Denis Cisneros come on and perform a couple of songs that he also wrote related to these events and that he was inspired to.
Dennis, make it happen, brother. I gotta set you up with the mic. Yes. So far, so hey, yes.
We need
A stool? Yeah. I was gonna get him a. Is that one okay? Yeah. And then, or you want that one? You want the chair or the stool?
Stool will work nice.
Will this one be okay? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Cool. I have a camera on right now.
Oh, that's what it is. We always say our following the officials. We had no contact with the caravana.
And Daniel, you don't know why.
He's not.
That's fine. Cuando él termine. All right. I got you, Dennis. Dennis, you're live, brother. All right.
43 rays of light, 43 rays of luz.
43 rayos de luz.
You want to say it?
This song's called 43 Rays of Light, 43 Rayos de Luz. Rayos de Luz, perdón.
Hi, everybody. Again, it's Marta, and I want to take this moment to. Voy a hablar un poquito de español también para los compañeros que nos están escuchando en español. Les agradecemos. It's obvious that we have artists here who use music to express not only their talent, but their sentiment against or towards lo que está pasando en Ayotzinapa. Tenemos aquí unos músicos increíbles, su música para expresar pues sus pensamientos, sus sentimientos. And I have a question for both. What inspired you? ¿Qué los inspiró primeramente en music to bring awareness? ¿Cómo podemos usar la música para crear conciencia?
Yeah, well, many different forms of inspiration come, especially when events like this are shaping our way of, our view of the world. It's like waking up to reality. And like as musicians and artists, I feel like it's our role to raise people's consciousness and awareness to just be aware of who they are, be aware of where they are, and what continent this even is or whatever it is, so it's a good tool that we can use to use as a form of spiritual and to find the path of truth in many different ways.
Yeah, you used the word healing. Usaste la palabra sanamiento, que es algo que también yo, en lo personal, cuando pienso en Ayotzinapa, en los 43 desaparecidos, yo uso el arte y la música y el baile para eso, para dar un poco de sanamiento, to provide healing, and I think that it's very important to keep that awareness going, especially through, again, music and dance. What about you, Marco?
Earlier we were talking with Dennis, and I really liked the way he created this song as an instrumental piece because he felt like there was no way to put into words what had occurred that day or what is still happening to this very moment, that we can still find closure with that, because as much as people may tell others to get over it or just to move on, there's just no way you can with such a trauma that people have experienced and suffered. And all we can do is pick up the pieces and let people know that these things just can't happen. It have to be Ayotzinapa. We can talk about Ayotzinapa all day, and then we can talk about Eric Garner and Ferguson. We're celebrating or commemorating the 1-year anniversary of Michael Brown's death, and these things are happening here in the United States, in Mexico, and Palestine, and all around the world. And we can do our part by performing these pieces, but that doesn't mean that that's where it ends. And I feel like it's very important for us to also reach out to the community and to the social organizations that are trying to make a difference in our lives right here in Houston.
Pues sí, queremos agradecerles a Marco y a Denis por haber compartido su música, y como acabas de decir, tenemos que también recordar que la justicia social es en todo el mundo, nada más en Ayotzinapa, y todos tenemos que estar al tanto, al pendiente. We need to be aware that social justice is everywhere. We need to be just conscious of that. So I personally thank you for sharing your music, and I think we have a great effort here together, collectively.
Thank you very much. Okay, Dennis is now going to perform a second song for us. What's the name of your song?
The Spirit Walk, and I try to use traditional methods as well as new methods of expression, and I hope you guys like it. Enjoy.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
I would like to take this opportunity now to introduce Daniel Anguilu, very well-known artist around town, and I'd like for him to tell us a little bit about his experience visiting Ayotzinapa and being in Mexico after what had happened. Thank you.
Thank you, and whoever's watching and everyone that's here. I think just like I found myself from a very long time. I found myself trying to understand what it is that who we are and how we come about, especially in economical and or education. And from a very young age, I traveled around a lot to find that, to understand that, and to find my place. And I've connected with the world at some point, and I began to understand the connections that exist from different movements to different social to different economical and governments. And that connection has allowed me to produce artwork that somehow speaks to people, and somehow it also allows me to get involved into contributing to finding not a solution but contributing to our seek for knowledge and our seek for how we are looking to understand how we're going to get over and become who we are at heart, because the world is not violent. It's not supposed to be violent. People make it a certain way. Poverty shouldn't exist. People make poverty. The rights for education and every other human right, it has been taken away from us. So after learning of how we can get involved with what happened in Ayotzinapa, I began to call friends, and other people began to figure out how they could move and get close together and do something. To me, that's a magical moment from people that would never do that, and to begin in my hometown. I've experienced that before, but from people that were directly affected from oppression. But to see that happening here in town was an opportunity to be part, continue to contribute to organization and to our right for assembly and our right for knowledge and our right to continue to maybe not fight, but to find ways for us to get together. I think that's very important. I traveled to Mexico to be part of a march, to just to be present, and I've met some of the students from Ayotzinapa, and they've seen the work that I do in town, and they invited me to do something in their school. I knew about the schools, and I knew about how long they've been fighting, and I knew who they were, and I knew exactly why the government has attacked them And I know that they will attack anybody that will go against them here and everywhere you try to do that. But it's that at that moment, you know what you need to do, and you don't question it anymore. If an invitation comes open, you take it at any cost. Um, Ayotzinapa and painting a mural there, it took me a few months to get over it. Um, Violence is not something that we should look forward to, but it's happening, and it's necessary for at this time. But that's not what we're supposed to do. And we all speak of healing and how healing happens, and most of us need it, and most of us need to understand what the healing is, so things don't violent. What we're doing now here is important because we're not the ones that have to pick up the arms. We can pick up whatever we have and organized. So people tend to look at this as something that's foreign and it's not affecting them. Corruption, the corruption in Mexico, it comes from us, from each one of us. And just like we need to connect to everything that's good, we need to understand that we're also connected to everything that's affecting everyone, everywhere in the world. So the more that we can begin to understand oppression in anywhere in the world, the more that we would overcome that oppression individually. But collectively, it's the only way. So I hope that we continue to do this and continue to work. If not, then we just have to submit to history, and we have to be the people. We are the people that have an opportunity to overcome this, and we are the people that can empower first yourself and then everyone that's around you, and that's happening. But we have to believe in that. And the 43 kids are still missing, but they have a home. They have, and that fought for us to understand that, and it's our opportunity and our time. And thank you guys for sharing this time with us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, man. Thank you. Moving on, we're going to now perform one last song on our end with Elizabeth Salazar from Bang Bangs, and she'll be singing La Nave del Olvido with us. The song is very important to us because although it may speak of a personal sadness and a tragedy that struck one person's life, especially in his love life, I think that we can definitely take the message of that song and apply it to this event. And I think it's very important that as much as we've been repeating it and it's just worth repeating, we need to keep this in our minds. And it's impossible for us to just shed the responsibility that we have of informing people and keeping this alive, because it's not just those 43 kids. This happens to people every day. And just because we say, well, it's not us, it's maybe my cousin or my neighbor, those people are you in a sense. And the more we let things happen to them, we're just letting it happen to us at a spiritual level, and we're letting us become corrupted. Just like Daniel said, it's almost like we're letting our souls become corrupted. So we need to make sure that we carry this with us, as painful as it may be, but so that it can be a cause for change and working towards the process of moving forward for a brighter day, the best way I can put it. So thank you guys. This is La Nave del Olvido.
I need to check your vocal. And you need to make sure that it's okay. got your song ready. You want to say something on the? You want to try something out? Hopefully the reverb.
1, 2.
You hear it? Let me get it on. What's really loud? All of them? Like, play some, play bass. You want to turn it down? Better? Give me 1 second. We should be good, guys.
Espera, aún la nave del olvido no ha partido. No condenemos el naufragio lo vivido. Por nuestro ayer, por nuestro amor, yo te lo pido. Espera, aún me quedan en mis manos primaveras para colmarte de caricias todas nuevas que morirían en mis manos si te fueras. Espera un poco, un poquito más para llevarte mi felicidad. Espera un poco, poquito más. Me moriría si te vas. Espera para darte. Tengo 1000 noches de amor que regalarte. Te doy mi vida, cambio de quedarte. Espera, no entendería mi mañana si te fueras. Y hasta te admito que tu amor me lo mintieras. Y aunque tú no me quisieras. Espera un poco, un poquito más para llevarte mi felicidad. Espera un poco, un poquito más.
to La Maestra de la Paz. She's going to be performing a typical Mexican dance for us, and she will introduce it herself.
Gracias. Primeramente, Elizabeth, what a beautiful song, qué bonita canción. Un aplauso para ella. Y pues las palabras dicen, no hay que olvidarnos, hay que mantenernos, hay que mantener la memoria viva de estos 43 estudiantes, como dijo mi compañero Daniel. El mundo no es violento, nosotros lo hacemos violento. Y también lo podemos hacer en un lugar pues pacífico, lo mejor que podemos tratar. Rapidito quiero explicar el baile que voy a presentar en un momento. Es de Guerrero, del sur, y se llama Las Amarillas. En Guerrero se hacen fiestas también. Queremos recordar que, claro, la cultura hay que mantenerla viva y hacerlo a través de la música, del baile. In Guerrero, there's different types of dances. This is one of them that I will be performing. And a little bit of background of the dance. I learned this perhaps maybe 15 years ago, so it's been a process. It's also been a sort of like an evolution of the dance. It has become movements towards the movement. Este bailable yo lo aprendí hace como 15 años y se ha convertido, se ha transformado no solamente en una danza, pero movimientos hacia el movimiento, ya sea en Ayotzinapa, ya sea en cualquier parte del mundo. Creo que la danza es algo que sana y es una oportunidad para expresar. Cuando conocí a Clemente, que es el padre de Cristian Alfonso, hubo una conexión a través de este baile. Yo aprendí que su hijo también baila ballet folklorico. Entonces eso hizo que el baile ya no fue baile, fue como una ofrenda, que ahora cuando yo bailo, de nuevo, ya no es un baile. When I met Clemente back in March of this year, he's one of the parents, he's Cristian Alfonso's parent. We had a connection through this dance. I learned that his son also dances ballet folklorico. So the dance transformed itself into not just a dance, but as an offering. So with that in mind, I want to quiero dedicar este baile a ti, Clemente, y a tu hijo, y que mantengamos la fe que los muchachos van a aparecer. De Guerrero, Las Amarillas. Thank you for tuning in en español. Yo quisiera hacer un programa todo, ¿por qué no? And, yo también soy miembro de la Asamblea Popular de Houston, soy mamá, soy maestra y pacifista. Creo que esa es mi intención aquí. So, thank you very much.
Was it really loud on the headphones?
It was earlier.
It was? I'm sorry, I don't know what's going on. I wish I could. Sorry.
That's cool. I mean,
Make some space for her, right? Sorry about that. See if makes some space for her. Oh, yeah, okay.
Para ti, Clemente, para ti, Cristian Alfonso y todos los 43 estudiantes, los tenemos aquí en el corazón. We have you in our hearts. Ayotzinapa vive, todos somos Ayotzinapa. Y no les agrade.
Las amarillas, calandras de los nopales, ya no cantarán alegres los pájaros cadernales. A la tiranana, no, ya no cantarán alegres los pájaros cadernales. Árboles de la lavera, porque no han reverdecido, por eso calandras canten, con la zapachurra el nido. A la tiranana, no, por eso calandres canten, o les zapachurra el nido. mueres te quiero. Pareces una rosita en las costas de Guerrero. A la tiranana, a la tiranana no. Pareces una rosita en las costas de Guerrero. En la medianía del mar, una ballena, y en el suspiro decía, el que la seca la llena. A la tiranana, a la tiranana no. En el decía, el que la seca la llena. Mi padre fue gavilán, y yo nací pico pico. Soy como el tarrantantán, donde quiera meto el pico. A la tiranana, a la tiranana no. Todos dan su despedida, pero como hasta ninguna. A la tiranana, a la tiranana no. Todos dan su despedida, pero como hasta ninguna. 4 por 5 son 20, 2 por 7 son 21. 4 por 5 son 20, 2 por 7 son 21. 4 por 5 son 20, 2 por 7 son 20. A la tiranana, a la tiranana no.
Thank you guys very much for tuning in. That's the end of our broadcast for today. So we would just really like to ask you to keep those 43 students in mind, keep the movement alive, make sure that you find out about everything that's going on in your community and around the world so that you can stay active in whatever it is that interests you, as long as you're making sure that you're staying true to yourself, to your humanness, and remember that we're all one. Thank you very much.
We want to go ahead and thank everybody that's here joining us, Wonky Power Records. We want to go ahead and thank Nelson that's behind the camera. Can we turn the camera on? And we're missing Jessica, but I know you're watching, so we'll be here in Wednesday, right? Wednesday. Please check us out. Wednesday we have a very special guest, Telephantom, on the air. So again, everybody, thank you very much for being a part of this.
Tune out.
Tune out. Oh yeah, tune out.
There you go. Yeah.